Hey everybody, it's Troy, your favorite new boomer on YouTube. Man, do I have a story for you. The LAPD seized and destroyed a 300 plus firearm collection that was worth over $1 million. So come on, let's get into it. Okay everybody, before we get to the main part of this video, I need a favor from you. I am about 110 subscribers short of 20,000 subscribers on my channel, and I appreciate everybody's support, everybody that's watched all the videos and the comments and the likes and the shares. But if you're not subscribed to the channel, if you could help me out with that. So let's talk about this guy. His name was Wayne Wright, and Wayne was a former war veteran, a Bronze Star recipient, a former firefighter, and a former police officer. And like many retired police officers and military veterans, he collected firearms. What was unique about Mr. Wright's collection was it contained rare and valuable collector's items worth almost $1 million. And that was at the time that this happened, and that was in 2004. But this case is still relevant because Mr. Wright is now suing people in the LAPD and other people too as well to recoup the amount of these firearms that were destroyed. So let's go back to 2004. And also, I'm going to put up on the screen a list of some of the firearms that were seized from him and then later on destroyed. And it might not be in order. I'm not going to be able to put every one up because there's 14 pages that was in the lawsuit. But at least you'll be able to see some of the firearms that he had. In 2004, the LAPD's Gang and Narcotics Division gun unit failed to seize enough guns that year. So in order to receive the necessary yearly funding from the federal program called Project Safe Neighborhoods, local police programs were expected to show progress in policing their communities and seizing guns. In other words, there was a quota that they had not met. So how did they exceed their total seizures from the prior year of 2003? The LAPD's Gang and Narcotics Division gun unit arrested Wayne Wright and seized his entire gun collection that exceeded 300 plus firearms and other items, including $1,000 in cash, and like I said, worth at that time close to $1 million. So of course the big question is, why did they arrest Mr. Wayne Wright? Well, let's get into that then. Mr. Wayne Wright evidently, with this big collection that he has, sometimes would have tables at a gun show and sell some of his collection. It didn't say how often or how many he had ever sold, but of course everything was done legally because this is in California, of course. And so it wasn't unusual for somebody to contact him individually to want to purchase a firearm from him, which the guy did. But unbeknownst to Mr. Wright, the guy who contacted him was undercover from the LAPD. So they met, and the guy looked at the firearm, and I guess they agreed on a price, and then they agreed that they would go to an FFL to do the transfer and make sure everything's on the up and up. Well, this undercover PD officer asked if Mr. Wright would drive him to the FFL, which he agreed. And then of course they brought the firearm along with him, but the undercover officer, here's where it gets real sketchy, asked if he can hold it while they were driving in the car. When they pulled up to the FFL, that car was then surrounded by, of course, a whole bunch of police officers with guns drawn, telling him to get on the ground, and then of course he was arrested. I couldn't find out how many charges he was originally charged with, but after a while, the DA only could make one charge stick, and that was a misdemeanor. And so that made it so Mr. Wright could get his firearms returned. But he didn't get them returned. Years and years went by. And like I said, this happened in 2004. It took numerous calls and numerous filings from his lawyers. And then in 2012, which was 8 years later, he was finally told that he could come pick up 26 firearms out of the over 300 plus that was seized. When he got these 26 firearms home, he found out that apparently all of them had been shot over the years. And that a lot of them were damaged, some of them extensively, some of them had missing bolts, some of them had missing sights. And of course, being there for that long, they hadn't been maintained, cleaned, oiled, or whatever. And so over the years after that, they kept on petitioning to get these guns returned, get these guns returned. And it kept on coming down to these two detectives that would give them a runaround saying, you know, we've already put in the paperwork, or they would even give them, oh, it'll be in a couple of weeks, and they just kept on pushing them. Even the Department of Justice told them they need to return those firearms. And then he finds out sometime I believe in 2013, that this lead detective got an order from a judge to destroy those firearms, which they did. And now he is suing this year for the amount of those firearms, which is now over $1 million. So I hope you were able to see some of the firearms in question that had been taken from Mr. Wright and destroyed. They need to pay this guy and pay him right away, but of course he's got to go through the courts. And of course, once he hopefully wins this case, then a lot of that money is going to go towards the lawyers anyway. So thanks for watching the video. Please give it a thumbs up if you like the information that I gave you, and please don't forget to subscribe to the channel, hit those bell notifications, and also share this video if you like. Thanks for watching, and we will see you in the next video.